have to make a confession. I have fallen in love. Okay, it's really y'all's fault that I fell in love, because this video is to do the chenille stitch. And this has been a video that has been often requested by you guys out there. And so I taught myself how to do the chenille stitch, and I cannot stop. I love this stitch. Where has this stitch been my whole life? I mean, seriously. So it's a kind of a mix of herringbone and netting, which sounds kind of like, ooh, 2 stitches, it sounds scary, but you know what? It's way easier, and it works up really fast. And I absolutely love it. It makes for an incredibly flexible tube. But here's one of the reasons that I'm so over the moon over this. When you do it, and it kind of simulates the look of netting, but what's so different about it is that it holds its round tubular shape in a way that netting doesn't. So when you do a netted tube, over time, it flattens down. And that's kind of disappointing sometimes. I mean, it's fine, but I kind of prefer it to be rounded, for it to stay rounded. And with chenille stitch, it does stay rounded. So this is one of the reasons why I just think that it's so cool. And like I said, I just love how beautifully supple it is. It gives us lots of options for designing. This particular piece is done with size 8s. I've got a piece here to show you what it looks like with size 11s. Let's take a closer look, okay? So this is the one that I did with size 8s, and you can see how beautiful it is. Here's an idea of scale. So, you know, to me, this is like the perfect bracelet scale for a tube. Here is it done with 11s, which makes the diameter a little bit smaller. It also takes away a little bit of the flexibility, but you still have enough that it will give you a nice drape for a bracelet or a necklace. So I just think that I'm just over the moon. I can't wait to start designing with this and creating some projects for you guys with this particular stitch. So there are 2 ways to start the chenille stitch. Today we're going to talk about how to start it. Notice how each one of these has a little bit of a edging on it. And today we're going to talk about how to start it with that edging, what I'm calling a border. When you're doing the border, what you're going to do is you're going to create a little ladder stitch section first to start your piece off on. So in this case, what I did is, you can see that this is 6 beads around, and I did it 2 high. So to create that nice, you know, if you're going to do a border, give it a good statement border. So do it 2 high at least. So that's what we're going to create first, is this little ladder stitch section. I went ahead and added a stopper bead, but because we're ladder stitching, you don't really need a stopper bead. You're going to pick up 4 beads to start out with, pull them down. You're going to pass back through the first 2 that you picked up. Now I'm going to go through ladder stitch kind of quickly here, but I do have an entire tutorial on how to do ladder stitch, and I will pop a link up for that video if you want to review it a little more in depth. So I passed through the other set of beads so that I could get to what I'm considering the outside edge, which is away from the tail, picking up 2 more, passing through the previous 2 beads, whoops, not catching your entire sample, and then tightening down, passing through the 2 that you just added. So that gives us 3 sets. So here's set 4. Set 5. And set 6. So now we want to take this ladder stitched piece and turn it into a tube. So we're going to do my old fold it like a taco. We can actually just get rid of the stopper bead. Okay, there we go. And so this and this are what I want to connect. So I'm just going to circle around those 2 sets of beads to connect them. So I'm going down on the left side, back up on the right. I like to bead opposite my tail, so I'm going to go ahead and do 1 more stitch so that now, as I go this direction, now my tail's on the bottom and I'm beading on the top. And I managed to kind of get that, there we go, get rid of that stopper bead altogether. So here is where we start the chenille stitch. And the very first round, believe it or not, is just herringbone. So what I'm going to do here is I'm picking up 2 beads. I am passing down through the bead right next door to the one I was coming out of. Then I have to pass up through the next bead. Again, if you need a herringbone tutorial, just a little reminder of what herringbone's all about, because I know I'm kind of going through this part a little fast, I'll pop up a link for the video I have showing you how to do that. So we're attaching these 2 by stitching down and then turning and stitching up. So this will be my last 2 beads that I add on this row. Come on, Mr. Bead. There we go. Stitching down. You will still have to do a step up. So this is where now we want our thread, since the thread is coming out of the bottom of this bead, we need it to go in the bead right next door, plus get out to the outside edge so we can add more beads. So that means we're going to go through 2 beads that time instead of 1. That's our step up. Okay, so here's where we start getting a little different. Next round, we're just picking up 1 bead. You're still going to stitch down, and then you're going to stitch up into the first bead of the next set of 2. You're picking up 1, you're stitching down, and then up. You're picking up 1 and stitching down, and then up. And then that, because that now we've got the 3 singles and we're doing 3 stitches, that means we're ready for our step up. So our step up is going to be through that blue bead below, plus the single gold bead that we have sitting there along the top. Okay, so now we're going back to the blue beads. So we're picking up 2 blue, but this time we only have to stitch through 1 bead because you've only got 1 sticky outie right there. So you're just passing through the single sticky outie, picking up 2, pass through the single sticky outie, pick up 2. You're passing through the single sticky outie. Look, I'm filling in that last hole here. This is my last stitch, so I need to do a step up. The step up is so simple now. All you're doing is passing through the gold to finish it, and then through the first bead of the double that's right there that you just started with this row with. Guess what? Now we're doing a single. So now we're picking up a single, passing through the next bead of that double. So the one that's right there, so you're splitting those 2. And then you're skipping the gold bead that's below, and you're passing through the first bead of the next set of 2. And see how when you tighten that, it tightens up over that gold bead that was below. So it seems really weird that you're jumping all the way across that gold bead, but when you tighten your thread up, it cinches those guys up on top of it. So that's exactly what you want to do. So you're picking up 1, passing through the second bead of the double, going across the gold bead, and into the first bead of the next set of double. Okay. And oops, wait a minute, what am I doing? I'm adding the gold, yes. So I'm adding, this is my last gold stitch. So we're going through the second bead of the double, through the first bead on the next double, and then here's my step up into the first sticky outie that I just added. Look how easy this is. Okay, now we're back to the blues. Add 2 blue, go through the next sticky outie, add 2 blue, go through the next sticky outie, add 2 blue. Here's my step up through the next sticky outie plus the first bead of the double. Now we're back to gold, putting a single gold in between the 2 blues, jumping across the next gold into the first bead of the next double. Okay, so you're just splitting those doubles and then getting to the next set of doubles. And then here's my last stitch of this round, going across. And then my step up is into that sticky outy bead. So there we go. And it is literally just that easy. It's repeating those 2 rounds over and over again until you get the length that you want. At that point, because we started out with a band edging, we're going to want to recreate that band edging on the other side so that it's symmetrical. So work on your length, come on back, and I'll show you how we're going to recreate that ladder stitch on the other side. So are you as in love with the rhythm of this stitch as I am? I don't know, there's just some stitches that are more pleasing to do than others, and I find this one incredibly pleasing to do, and I can't wait to be done filming videos today so that I can go home and do some chenille stitch while cuddling with my fur babies and watching some TV. But first I need to show you how to do the border, the matching border on the finishing side of your piece. So let's take a look at the beads here. You want to finish your round, your length, with one of the rounds of 2, because when we came out of the border on this side, we started with the rounds of 2. So that's what you want to finish with on this end. And so now we're going to switch back to the gold, because I'd used the gold to make a nice strong contrast border there. Obviously, if you used the main color, the color that you used in the rounds of 2s as your border, it would not be as dramatically in your face, just FYI. I kind of like to have that really strong statement of a start and stop, so I tend to use the accent color when I'm doing the borders. So I'm going to do the gold, and we're going to pick up 4 beads, because remember how we want this border to be 2 beads tall. So, and normally, like if I were just doing herringbone here, I would be picking up 2 beads. So, but because I want them to be too tall, I'm picking up 4 beads. And I'm passing right through the very next bead. So like we did when we were just picking up a single. Same thing when we were picking up the single. We're going to slide across that indented gold bead and then go to the first bead of the next set of doubles. What's going to happen when you pull, do you see, you end up with 2 towers here, 2 by 2. So we're going to do that all the way around. So now I'm picking up 4 beads in this slot. I'm passing through the next bead of the double, coming across the accent bead, and going into the first bead of the last double. So there's my little towers there. I'm going to do this one more time. 1, 2, 3, 4. Pass through the next bead of the double. Then here's our step up. So we're going to pass through, and I usually have to do this in 2 stitches. So I pass down through the second bead of the double to attach those. And now, because I kind of have to get a better angle on this one down here, the blue below, and then the first 2 beads that I picked up there. And now we've got these 3 towers that are not connected. So all we have to do is connect these towers together to finish this. So I'm coming out the top of one stack, and I need to connect it to this stack over here. So all I'm going to do is go down the 2 beads on this stack. So we're just circling around these and then back up the ones I was originally coming out of. And now that connection is made. Now I need to move over so that I can get to the next opening. So we'll go down the stack next door. I can connect these from the bottom. So I'm coming out the bottom of this stack. We're going to go up to the top of the next stack, and we're going to circle back around again to connect those 2 together. And then I just need to move over. We've got one more opening that we need to close over here. So I'm just going to pass through the next stack over to get over there. And then again, we're just going to circle around these 2 stacks to connect them. That, and then like that. And there we go. Now your 2 ends match, and you've got that beautiful setting for your piece. And you know, these, especially when you have the band there, I mean, how cute would this be as its own little beaded bead? And so you could string this on soft flex or, you know, beadle on whatever beading wire you use. put an accent bead, then do another one. You could do these segments and use these segments as a design element. Or you could do an entire necklace and just have this at the back where you would add your clasp. So, but I just think that this banding makes it a really strong design element for when you're looking for a small element. So I absolutely think that this is one of the coolest stitches that I've learned in a really long time, and I hope you like it too. There will be a free PDF download that shows you the diagrams on how to do this stitch. So if you're more of a writer, you need a physical piece of paper, you can go to Jill Wiseman Designs. I will pop a link up for where you can get that download. And I hope you enjoy doing chenille stitch as much as I do.